Yet again this week we have seen headlines pitching Apple against Facebook, as the iPhone maker's crackdown on user tracking threatens mobile ad revenues. But while Facebook is clearly in Apple's sights, it is Google just as much as Facebook that is being hit hard by the new and long-delayed flight to privacy. Gmail has already come under attack for its alarming privacy labels. But a new update from Apple, combined with a privacy backlash this month against creepy mail tracking, should now be the final convincer for millions of users to delete their Gmail apps, ensuring that their data is not being secretly harvested. Until now, Apple versus Google on privacy has focused on Android's continual game of catch-up on mobile data permissions. But Apple is also pressuring Google when it comes to its feasting on data from the billion iPhone users. And just as with its other apps, Google's Gmail is a privacy nightmare compared to Apple's alternative. Earlier this year, Google cleverly allowed Facebook to play the role of minesweeper when Apple's privacy labels exposed the sheer extent of the previously invisible data harvesting taking place. Google let its own iOS apps run stale, delaying updates until the furor had settled, before showing that its own apps were no better. And so, one by one, we saw Google's flagship iOS apps, Gmail, Maps, Photos, Chrome, YouTube, Docs, fill in the alarming blanks. And because this is Google, it was suddenly very important to remember that there's an account-based system linking all these apps together and a spider's web of trackers following users around. As DuckDuckGo warns, Google's trackers are installed on 75% of the top million websites, the next closest is Facebook at 25%. Google sells ads not only on their search engine, but also on over 2.2 million other websites and over 1 million apps. Every time you visit one of these sites or apps, Google is storing that information and using it to target ads at you. Google dwarfs Facebook when it comes to this tracking, period. Apple has been publicly cracking down on Facebook with app tracking transparency and doing the same to Google by adding new privacy innovations to Safari to tempt users away from market-leading Chrome and enhancing other apps, notably Maps, to pull its users away from Google's data-hungry ecosystem. The other critical innovation that Apple will bring with iOS 15 will likely be as big a hammer blow to the data marketing industry as app tracking transparency and blocking third-party web tracking cookies by default in Safari. Right now, 70% of the emails you receive are laced with secretive trackers that send information back to their handlers. Have you opened the email? When and how often? Where were you when you read the content, and what device were you using? All this data feeds the nefarious algorithms that manipulate what you buy, think and do.